Hey, it's Jad T. Jones. In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to set yourself up for success when it comes to dating and women. I want you to be able to consistently attract and date the kind of quality women that you're truly attracted to. So, this presentation is for you if you've been stuck for a while and you're not quite sure why you're stuck, or you have a feeling you know why you're stuck and you're hoping to get unstuck. I'm going to show you the formula for getting unstuck and finally getting this woman thing handled once and for all, as well as the formula for ultimately finding and dating your dream woman, the woman that you're truly attracted to. Now, in this presentation, this isn't going to be one of those presentations where it's all fluff and you get to the end of the video only to discover that you have to sign up to something in order to get value. No, you're going to get value and I'm going to give you the answers in this video, whether you end up, I'm going to give you an offer to jump on a free call with me, but whether you end up deciding to jump on a free call with me or not, I promise that I'm going to give you value during this presentation. So whether you end up joining my coaching or not, it really doesn't make a difference. You're going to get maximum value out of this training. So let us go through the habits of highly successful seducers, as well as the most common mistakes that men make, which cause them to never reach that level of seducer, of guy who can get the women he wants. So, the truth of the matter is that most men will fail before ultimately reaching their goal of mastering this game. Okay? The reason for that is this game is a lot harder than most men anticipate. And this brings us to perhaps the number one biggest cause of failure preventing men from mastering this game, which is underestimating the game. Okay, underestimating the game. So, rule number one, if you want to succeed in this game, is never underestimate the task at hand. Okay? Never underestimate the task at hand. Getting the true women you want, or a lot of guys say, hey Jad, I want to be able to consistently get the kinds of women I want so that I know that I have that consistency so I can date a bunch of women to ultimately finally choose that one special girl. So if you're looking for that consistency, if you're looking for that lifelong skill, you cannot underestimate how difficult this game really is. So the analogy I give is this. Imagine that you're facing a mountain and you're looking up at that mountain and you want to climb it, you want to reach the peak. Okay, the peak symbolizes me finally mastering this woman thing and getting the women I want. Okay, so a lot of men look at that mountain and they say, oh yeah, you know what, I can probably climb that. It's not that hard, it'll probably take me a few days. And then they gear up with, let's say, 2 days worth of equipment, and then they make their way up the mountain. But the truth is that mountain was a lot steeper and a lot higher than that person estimated. And so what happens with most people is they get 1/4 or halfway up the mountain, and then they run out of supplies. They realize that they shouldn't have gone up the mountain alone. They probably should have had a climbing partner. They run out of food. They face a cliff that's much steeper than they thought they anticipated would be there, and they don't have the proper tools. And then a storm comes, and then they get stuck on the mountain, and they ultimately end up dying somewhere on that mountain. Why? It's not because they didn't have what it takes. It's because they underestimated the task at hand at the beginning. And so they did not prepare properly or bring the proper tools or strategies to help them get to the top. So what I see with most men who end up failing in this game, it's not that they don't have what it takes. It's not that they're not attractive enough, smart enough, determined enough. It's none of that. It's the fact that the majority of men just underestimate how much it really takes to get this woman thing handled. Okay? So if I go back to my story, when I wasn't getting the results I wanted with women and I wanted to break through to that next level, well, I went through this process where I started going out and, I watched YouTube videos, read some ebooks, did all that stuff that you've obviously done, gathered information and thought, okay, now this should be easy. I should go, well, not this should be easy, but okay, I have all the information, this should work, right? And so I started going out time after time after time, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted right away. And then I started realizing some things. Oh, I need more of this, I need more of that, I need more of this. And those missing pieces are what I'm gonna talk to you about today, where number one, don't underestimate the task at hand. And then number two, make sure you have the proper tools and resources that you need to get to the other side. So, after observing myself as well as the world's top seducers, as well as my successful students, I have discovered some patterns between those who fall short and those who end up getting the women of their dreams. So, we're going to go through those. So, number one is one of the most common causes of failure is you're underestimating the task at hand. Another word for this is you're being a bit arrogant. Okay, you're being a bit arrogant. You're not being humble enough. Okay, I was talking to, actually he was one of my students, a double Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Okay, double black belt. And I was asking him, what determines, when a student comes into your school, how do you know which student's gonna fail and which student's gonna ultimately succeed? And he said, you know what? The number one thing I look for in a new student isn't strength, isn't confidence, isn't any of that stuff. The number one thing I look for to determine if the student is gonna be a success or failure is humility. Humility. Okay? Why is that? He went on, his name is Kurt. Shout out to Kurt if you're watching. Kurt said, in one of his classes, there was a guy who came in and he was loud and obnoxious and arrogant. He thought he was like all that. And then he came into the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class and then he got his butt handed to him time after time after time after time, right? And then he quit. Why? Because you cannot go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu without having the humble attitude of a student and learning what you need to learn. Otherwise you're going to get your butt handed to you over and over. And I thought, wow, that is the perfect analogy for what I'm going through trying to communicate to my students and my viewers, is that if you come into this game arrogant or thinking, you know what, this is easy, or you know what, it doesn't require 100% commitment from me. I can kind of casual my way into this. Time after time, I see casualty after casualty where men underestimate what it takes and therefore do not make it. So number one, get humble. A lot of you think you know the game because you've studied it and watched YouTube videos. Let me tell you this. By looking at your results, I can tell you if you get this game or not. If you are not consistently attracting beautiful women into your life on command, okay, your results tell me that you know about the game, but you don't get the game. There's a difference between knowing about the game versus getting the game. The guy who gets it gets women consistently. We can look at his results. His results are he's getting women consistently, which means he gets it. The guy who knows about the game can talk a good talk about the game, but when we look into his results, into his life, there is scarcity. There aren't really women in his life, or there are not the quality women in his life. So right now, if you're thinking, Jad, I know everything, blah, 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 let's look at your results. And can you be humble enough to look honestly enough at your results and see, do you know about the game or do you get the game? If you have an abundance of women in your life on command, you get it. Turn this video off. You don't need it. But if you're not getting those results, that means you know about the game. You don't get the game. And this video is that bridge that I want to take you from knowing about the game to getting the game. When you get the game, you get women. Right now, if you're not getting women, that means you have to go back and become a student of the game, but this time become a much more serious student. Do you see the theme here? The reason for your constant failure, even though you've been studying this for years but have not yet broken through, is a lack of humility. You have not been serious enough as a student. So let's talk about that for a while. One of the things that I teach my clients is I teach them how to be good students. Until you, look, here's the majority, 95, 98%, study this stuff, but they don't study it in the proper way. They do it more like entertainment. They watch one video, after another book, after another audio book, after another ebook, and they just consume, but they don't stop and do the exercises. They don't stop and go and implement. They don't stop and study deeply each and every element. So what I call this is edutainment. You're edutaining yourself. Education, entertainment, edutainment, right? You may tell me that, hey man, I've been studying this for years, but I still haven't broken through. You haven't really been studying. You've been edutaining yourself. It's entertainment. You watch a video, you watch another video, you listen to an audiobook, just keeps you preoccupied for a while, but you're not doing the work. So this is why the first part of this training, if you realize, number one, don't underestimate the task at hand. That's also about humility. Humility. The arrogant mountain climber is the dead mountain climber. The arrogant jiu-jitsu student is the jiu-jitsu student that gets his butt kicked all the time. The arrogant student of seduction is the guy staying at home, single, at home, because he's not getting it, okay? So today, Jad is telling you, you got to get back to being humble. You got to get back to being a student. And you have to study this material in a very specific way. And we will talk about that in a bit, okay? But the saying goes, if what you're doing hasn't been working, try something different. And today I'm going to give you what that difference is. But first we're going into the mindset. You need to have the mindset of the humble student first. Why? Because if you're not humble enough facing that mountain, you're not going to do the necessary studying required before taking on that mountain. And if you don't take the necessary precautions and preparations before climbing the mountain, you will die halfway up the mountain or 3/4 up that mountain. So, what's next? I want to give you an analogy of two great basketball players, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. You know what? Let's add Larry Bird in there, okay? These are champions, the greats, some of the greatest players to ever play the game. If you're a guy, you've probably watched sports documentaries and you've heard the following thing in every single champion story. He was the first to practice. He was the last to leave. He was the first to practice. He was the last to leave. Kobe Bryant was always the first to practice. He was always the last to leave. Larry Bird was always the first to practice. He was always the last to leave. Michael Jordan was always the first to practice. He was always the last to leave. These champions, when we look at them, when you see highlights of Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, you see this confident, almost borderline arrogant character. And you think, wow, these guys are so arrogant, they're so confident. But let me tell you what a champion really is. Kobe Bryant was not arrogant, he was the most humble. Michael Jordan was not arrogant, he was the most humble. How do we know? Because they were humble enough to put in more work, more study, more practice than every other player in the league. Larry Bird as well. Okay? Here's another example. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, if you look at his highlights and if you go back and look at his interviews, he looked absolutely arrogant. But he put in the practice, he put in the work more than anyone else. So that's the champions, you see them that way, but ultimately their identity, their core is they are the most humble. And you know what the most humble man does? He practices the most. Why? Because he's not so arrogant to think, I'm a unique, special snowflake that can cheat my way to success. But rather, I am humble enough to know that I'm just a regular human, and if I don't put in the work, I'm not going to become that champion. So today, my message to you is that if you've been failing up to this point, I'm holding a mirror up and saying, perhaps and probably one of the biggest reasons for your failure is you have been a bit arrogant. And I'm not calling you arrogant to insult you. I was also arrogant. Anyone who does not put in the honest effort is being arrogant because on the back of his mind, he's thinking, I can cheat my way into this. I'm a unique, special snowflake. Everyone else had to break their back to get this, but I'm just going to cheat by buying this course, reading this email or ebook, but not really do the work and kind of shortcut my success. There are no shortcuts to success. There is no shortcut to building your character as a man. In order for you to become highly attractive to women, you need to have a strong character. A strong character is built through grit, determination, going after something, being disciplined, doing whatever you need to do, doing the work. By doing the work, you become that tough, strong man that you want to be. And by doing the work, the reward is that women will see you as more attractive because you're showing up as the man you were meant to be. So, you should have some light bulbs coming up. All this should relate to you if you have been stuck for 2 years or more. Okay? If you've been stuck for 2 years or more, all this should relate to you. You should be realizing, I wasn't putting in the work. So, what's next? Watching videos, ingesting information alone is admirable, but not enough. Okay, let's say that again. Gathering information about women and seduction and attraction and how to be a powerful man and all that stuff, it's admirable that you want to improve yourself, but it's not enough. On its own, it's not enough. It is an incomplete equation. One thing that is keeping you stuck is the endless gathering of information about this topic. That's not what's going to have you have a breakthrough. If you've been gathering and learning information for 2 years or more and your results are still lacking, this is proof, conclusive proof, that more information is not the answer for you. Let's say that again. In case you were multitasking, listen to me here. If you've been gathering information for 2 years or more and your results have not improved dramatically, that means that more information is not the answer for you. It's part of the equation, but is not the full equation. So, what are the things, what are the ingredients that you need to add in order to get success? there is a concept called success is emergent. Let me explain what that means. Success is emergent means that success happens when you have multiple ingredients all present at the same time. Okay? When you have some ingredients missing, success doesn't happen. Okay? An analogy is, how do you bake a cake? You need the flour, you need the milk, you need the eggs, and you need the sugar. Let's say, I don't know if that's a complete recipe, but let's say that those are the recipes. If you leave out the sugar, it's not going to be a really good tasting cake. If you leave the sugar but you keep out the flour, I think what happens is that you just get a pancake. It doesn't puff out. If you leave out the milk, then again, you just have eggs and flour and sugar. That's not going to work, right? So for success of a cake to work, we need all 4 ingredients at the same time. Okay, again, success is emergent, meaning you need multiple ingredients at the same time. Okay, so what you've been doing is you've been going information. That's one ingredient. That is not the full formula of success with women. So what are the remaining ingredients? Okay, what are the remaining ingredients? What are the ingredients that I've seen are consistent with myself, other great seducers, as well as my successful students? What ingredients did they all implement together at the same time so that success emerged? Okay, success emerges, which means when you have all the ingredients at the same time, boom, you have a success. An analogy of this is sometimes you hear of people who get really successful and, in the interviews they say, wow, you were an overnight success. Oh, wow, you're an overnight success. And then the person laughs and says, I was not an overnight success at all. I was working my butt off for the past 15 years on this thing and nobody noticed me. But after 15 years, I finally got all the ingredients together and then boom, success emerged for me. You guys think it was overnight, but actually it took me 15 years to put the pieces together and now the world sees me as a success. Okay? So that's a good analogy. So that's what you're doing in the background. Your success will emerge once you put all the pieces that I'm sharing with you together. So, what are the ingredients of success? What are the ingredients that are going to get you unstuck? Number 1 is information. Okay? We're mentioning that first because information is abundant. Okay? But it's not enough. How can you know? Look into your results. Has information gotten you the breakthrough? No. That's it. We don't need to talk about that. That's not complicated. What is the next piece? What is the next piece? The next piece, I talk about this a lot, which comes from my favorite book, Think and Grow Rich, which is the mastermind principle. Think and Grow Rich is a book that shows you how to be successful in life. It's not only about how to accumulate money, it's about what are the principles of success. What makes one man successful and another man a failure. Okay? So one of the principles inside Think and Grow Rich is the following. So the author spent 25 years of his life studying 500 of the richest men in America and finding the patterns. And this is what he found after 25 years of studying successful men. He said that after 25 years of study, he found one common thing without exception amongst all successful men. He said that not one single man succeeded alone. Let's say that again. Okay, again, if you're multitasking, listen. One ingredient is information, and now we're on ingredient number 2. He said that after studying 500 of the most successful men, not one did it alone. And so one principle of success is that you need to go at whatever you're doing with one or more person. He calls it the mastermind principle. The mastermind principle states that success emerges when 2 or more minds, okay, 2 or more people, when 2 or more minds combine their powers, 2 or more people join together in harmony and work towards a specific goal, that's when success emerges. Remember how we're saying emerges? Success emerges when you have all the ingredients. Success emerges only when two or more people join minds towards a specific goal. Okay? So here's the hint. Jad, why have I been failing? Well, if this represents you as a person, this represents information gathering, okay, we're putting the recipe of success together here. I've been gathering information, and here I am gathering more information. Here I am gathering. Why haven't I won? Why haven't I won? What's missing here in the formula that we know so far? Is information enough? No. Another thing he said in this book, by the way, he said intelligence has absolutely nothing to do to determine, it's not a determining factor of success or failure. Okay? More information isn't your answer, right? It's a part of the puzzle, but not part. Why am I still failing? Well, what was the principle of success? He says, no man succeeds alone. No man. But Jad, I'm a unique snowflake and I think I'm better than everyone and I'm more talented and I can cheat my way. No man. No man succeeds alone. So as much as you hit this formula, me information, me information, me information, me information, me information, you can hit this drum, you can play this drum for 100 years, you ain't gonna make it, bro. You are not a unique snowflake. You're not gonna break the laws of success. 500 men, not one of them succeeded alone. And you think you're gonna be that unique snowflake that breaks that law? You're not. It's like the law of gravity. It always works. You drop this pen, it always drops. Okay? Similarly, the mastermind principle, when two or more people work in harmony towards a specific goal, that is a law as constant as gravity. So the shift, remember, if something isn't working, you need to do something different. This is the shift. You need to go from this, okay, you gathering information, to let's get the strategic information and let's add to the recipe a mastermind. You and another person, at least one, can be a group of 5, 7, whatever, but at least 2 or more people working in harmony towards a specific goal. So now, this is the shift you need to make, one of the shifts. Continue gathering specialized information and do it in a mastermind. Find another person to help you do this. Okay? And this is going to bring me to my next concept, which I invented, which is called mastermind up. Okay? So far the ingredients for the cake of success, of getting the women you want, gather specialized information and mastermind. Okay? There are more pieces, but these are the pieces so far. The next thing we're going to talk about is masterminding up. So this represents you and another person. Okay? So the law states no man can succeed alone. He requires to mastermind with at least one other person who's in complete harmony and together you're working towards a specific goal. Now, not all masterminds are equal. If you mastermind with the wrong person, they can actually bring you down. Let's now have this visualized be like on the same level. This is you and another person on the same level. This is someone who's, let's say, inferior to you. Now, we're not saying inferior in value, but let's say in skill and whatever. This is someone who's ahead of you, okay? So, with your options of masterminding, you can mastermind with someone who's behind you in the game, okay? Someone who's absolutely clueless. You can mastermind with someone who's kind of on your level, or you can mastermind with someone who's already figured this thing out, okay? So, the first thing you need to realize is this. Our minds are like photocopying machines. It's been shown that we are the average of the 5 people we spend time with. Our minds are like photocopying machines. We have something in our minds called mirror receptors, which are like tiny photocopying machines. And we cannot help but copy the people around us, okay? So studies have shown that you're the average health of the five people you hang out with most, the average income of the five people you hang out with most, the average success with women with the average five people you hang out most in. You're basically you can't help but copy the people around you. If everybody around you is eating bad food, you're eventually going to start eating badly. If everyone around you, has a negative attitude towards money, you're going to have a negative attitude towards money, and etc. Right? So we are the average of the five people we hang out with. We cannot help it because our mirror receptors are automatic. And so we need to choose the people around us carefully, aka our mastermind, carefully. So the mastermind principle requires you and another person, but here's where you have to be careful. Don't mastermind down. Okay, this is you. Don't mastermind down. A lot of men, this is what they do. Hey, you know what? I know this other guy, he's really struggling, but let me mastermind with him. Maybe that'll help. Well, this guy's down here. This guy's down here. He's clueless. He's not taking care of his health. If you're masterminding with him, he's going to pull you down. He's not going to bring you up. Okay? Now, you could mastermind with someone who's kind of on the same level with you. That's better than nothing, but you're both having the same issues. You both have the same blind spots. And so your progress is still going to be generally slow. Now, you've been looking for a shortcut. There is a giant shortcut that all champions use, all winners use, and usually, virtually almost guarantees your success. I'm not going to say 100%, nothing's 100%, but if there's anything that shortcuts your success and almost 100% guarantees your success, it's the next thing I'm going to share with you. What do winners do? What do champions do? What champions do, okay, this is the person wanting to succeed, be a champion, master with women, is they mastermind up. They mastermind up, okay? If we are the average of the five people we hang out with, and we have mirror receptors in our brain that can't help but copy the people around us, and if we find a guy who's already a master in this game of seduction, and we hang out with him, what are our mirror receptors going to do? They're going to copy him, copy him, copy him, copy him. You can't help but be influenced by those around you. Copy him, and he will bring you up. You understand? So what you want to do, your mission when masterminding, is not only to mastermind, but to mastermind up. Find someone who has already figured out the thing that you want to accomplish and then get around them. Do whatever you need to do to get around them, because your mind will mimic them. Your mirror receptors will copy them, and boop, 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 boop. This is the fast way to success. A lot of you know this already, but you haven't connected it in your mind. If I'm a kid, if I'm like a teenager or whatever, and I want to be a champion tennis, what do? What's the first thing I do? I want to be a championship tennis player. What's the first thing I do? The first thing. Let's hire a coach. Right? I want to be a basketball player. What's the first thing I do? Let's hire a coach. Let's join a team and get a coach. I want to be a championship boxer. What's the first thing I do? Do I jump on YouTube? Do I read an ebook? Or do I seek out a coach, a mentor? It's so obvious when we look at it from a sports standpoint, but for some reason, I have found that people don't make the connection when it comes to being good at seduction. If you want to be good with seduction, find a mentor, find a coach who's already figured this out, and get him to coach you, and that is the shortcut you've been looking for. Okay? So we're calling this mastermind up, where you're here and here is a mentor. Here is someone who's already figured it out. So you have the ingredients of the mastermind up plus the specific information, okay? And I'm gonna give you, okay, and we could say also attitude, the attitude of humility. You can mastermind up all you want, but if you're not humble enough to be doing the work and doing what you need to do and being a good student, you're not gonna make it. If you're just doing edutainment instead of real study and implementation, you're not gonna make it, right? So one of these drops, you're not making it. You can be humble and gather information but not have the mastermind, you're not gonna make it. Okay? So recap. In order for you to break through and get this woman thing handled once and for all, you got to be a humble student and do the work. You need to mastermind up, and you need to gather the correct specialized information. So, before I share the last tip, I would like to invite you, if you are an already successful man who's generally successful in your life, but this woman thing, you've kind of been getting stuck, then I would like to invite you to book a free session with me where we can explore mentorship together. I will hold you by the hand and help you master this game the way, let's just put it this way. In the past 3 years or 4 years, I have helped multiple men who have been stuck for 3 years, 5 years, even over 10 years, go from being completely stuck and hopeless to now dating the women that they're truly attracted to. Some of them have gotten married to their dream girl. Others are on their way to getting married to their dream girls. Others are enjoying just having casual sex and casual relationships, where before they were just these like clueless nice guys who were just getting stuck in the friend zone. So we have a very high success rate in this coaching. And so if you're interested in getting personally mentored by me, then book a call. You see the link there, jadtjones.com/apply. Okay, so what is the next thing you need to do differently? What is the next thing required that most men are missing? A definite decision. Another word is you have to be 100% committed. Not 99% committed, 100% committed. I remember a moment in my life where I was going out, I was, trying to get this woman thing handled, always falling short. And then I realized I'm not going to get this thing handled until I commit 100% to it, not 99%, not 80%. And so I sat there, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. So help me God, if it kills me, I'm going to get this handled or die trying. I'm willing to pay whatever price. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to stick with this as long as I need to. But I'm getting this handled because I cannot live with myself knowing that I didn't master this. And it is only then that things started to change for me. Okay? It is only when a man makes 100% committed decision that he is going to win that providence moves for him, that things change for him. One reason why you're stuck, straight up, you're not 100% committed. You're not willing to pay the price in money, in time, in study, in getting rejected, in facing your fears, in doing the work, in doing the exercises, in going up to the girl, in finding a mastermind. You always have excuses. You always have back doors and side doors and escape routes. As long as you have even one escape route, you will always retreat. And you will always almost be there, but not quite. There's one sneaky, insidious statement that I hear so many times from men. It's this. This is usually in a conversation where we're discussing, hey, should you get mentorship or not? They say, Jad, you know what? I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I have a feeling I'm just almost going to break through. I'm just going to, try a bit more. Okay? And then they ride off on the sunset on their horse of hope, right? There's this deceptive thought and feeling in men that I almost have this handle. I almost get it, right? Well, maybe next month, right? But then I follow up with them 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, they still haven't broken through. So there's a thought in your mind. Your mind, we are denial machines, we humans. We're denial machines. And you're probably in denial as to how much work this is going to take and how far you are from the peak of the mountain. You have all this information, so it deceives you into thinking, I'm almost there. But are you really? Look into your life. What results have you been? What are your results? Your results tell us everything. You can talk for 10 hours, but your results will tell me where you're at. If you know about this game, or do you get the game? Men who get the game get women. Men who know about the game don't get women. Or don't get the quality women they truly want. So, you need to commit. You need to get to the point where you throw away all excuses. Stop saying, oh, maybe I'll handle this next summer, next fall, next winter, after a few months. Once I save up this money, once I finish this program, once I finish this. You know, there's always something. Your mind wants to keep you the same. Don't believe it's excuses. If it's not today, it's never. One of the biggest things that holds us back in life is believing our own lies to ourselves. The lies our mind tells us. If you're committed, if you want to get this handled, you're acting today. You're acting now. And if you're not, your actions reveal your lack of commitment. Let's say that again. Your actions reveal your lack of commitment. So, another major cause of failure, or another, let's say, part of the recipe is, let's get a nice thick one here, 100% commitment. If you're not 100% committed, then at the first sign of opposition, you're going to retreat and run away. You will never win the game of seduction or the game of success or any game if you are less than 100% committed, and if you're looking for an escape route, an escape hatch, and letting yourself have that escape hatch. The decision I made is success is my only option. Let me give you a story from the book Think and Grow Rich. So the story goes is that there is a commander sailing across the sea to a foreign land with his troops to go battle a great army. Now, his army was much smaller than the army they were going to face. And so he knew that he needed his troops 100% committed if they would stand any chance to win. And so they landed on this foreign land, and then he ordered his troops to burn their ships. And then as the ships were burning, he told the troops, you see those ships? Those were our only way back home. If you ever want to see your home again, you need to win this battle so we can build some new ships. That is 100% commitment. What allowed me to break through and handle this woman thing is I got committed. I got committed. I'm willing to do whatever it takes and pay whatever price in order to get this handled, or I will die before I give up. Okay? And then I gathered specialized information. And then I sought out mentors. One mentor after the other. Man, if I sat down and told you all the mentors and great men that I used to help me, 10 plus, okay? 10 plus men, all right? And then the humble student, do the work, study, don't do edutainment, study, do the work, okay? You have to have the things in order. You have to be humble. You have to mastermind, okay? So this formula is not optional. It's essential. Essential means that it is non-negotiable. If we talk about the essential building blocks of life, if we take away oxygen, can we survive? No. Well, similarly, if we take away any of these, are you going to master women? No, because the principles of success do not change whether you're talking about becoming a championship tennis player or mastering women or winning in business. You need to have the elements all working at the same time, or you're not going to break through. Now notice, during this whole conversation, we did not say you're failing because you're weak. You're failing because you're lacking confidence. You're failing because you're not attractive or you're too short or any of that stuff. Isn't it beautiful that none of that stuff matters? Smart people get rich. Dumb people get rich. Good people get rich. Bad people get rich. Similarly, we can replace the word rich with dumb people are successful, smart people are successful, short people are successful, tall people are successful, right? It doesn't matter. If you follow the recipe, success is emergent, you succeed. So, what I'm going to do for those who enroll in coaching, and I don't accept everyone. I work with a very specific kind of man, someone who's already successful in his life, generally speaking, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you implement all the different ingredients of success necessary for you to break through and get this woman thing handled, for you to start attracting and dating women that you truly want, so that you can have a selection, have power and choice, and ultimately find that one special girl that you can share your life with. So, if you're serious, if you're committed to making a change, schedule a call with me and we'll have a conversation. jadtjones.com/apply. You will schedule a call. There'll be a short survey after the scheduling, and we will hopefully talk soon, and I will see if and how I can help you. So, like I promised, whether you join me or you go at this some other avenue, I have given you a lot of the pieces so that you can emerge as a successful seducer. There's a lot of information out there telling you, how to flirt with a woman, how to be more alpha, how to do this and how to do that. But man, if you're missing the fundamental, foundational principles of what makes success, you just won't make it. Most guys don't make it. I've been doing this now for over 10 years. I've watched hundreds, actually millions, but let's say hundreds of thousands of people go through my channel and, watch and comment and all this stuff. And I have seen the majority of men, unfortunately, die on the mountain. They underestimate the task at hand. Part of the biggest, most common cause of failure is this. I would say 90 to 95% go at this game like this. Me, information. Oh, it didn't work. Let me go watch some more information. Oh, let's go get some more information. Me, information. Failing formula guaranteed. Failing formula. If you've been stuck for 2 or more years, this formula ain't going to work for you. Okay? If you've been stuck for 2 years or more, this ain't going to work for you. You add this, okay, mastermind, and you elevate your chances stupidly dramatically. And I speak, again, from experience, because the guys that I coach, that I mentor, that come to me, literally, most of them have been stuck for 3, 5, 7, 10 years. And within a matter of months, we turn it all around for them. It's not a miracle. It's because of the mastermind principle. It's because I focus on the success principles, where I would say a lot of other coaches will just teach you how to be more alpha and how to... Who cares about all that stuff if you don't have the fundamentals in place? I want this for you. You got to want it as badly for yourself as I want it for you, and as I wanted it back in the day, where I made that decision. I will die before I give up on this. I will figure this out, or I will die trying. And when I say I was willing to pay whatever price, I literally paid whatever price. I traveled across, to different countries to meet certain men, spend time around different mentors, go to where my intuition told me to go in order to elevate my game, learn new things, go out. I paid the price in time and money and effort and everything. And that's why I am where I am today. And my students paid the price as well, and that's why they are where they are at today, and they are very happy and at peace. So there is a way out. I showed it to you. Now it's your job to take the next step. If you're an already successful guy, hit me up, jatjones.com/apply, and let's have a conversation and see if we can transform your life and get you dating the women you truly want. I hope you've found a lot of value out of this. Most importantly, don't let this be another piece of edutainment. Implement this in your life, and your life will change. I promise. All right. Peace.